As the Assistant Director of Staff Recruitment and Training and Inclusion at Housing and Residence Life at UNC Greensboro. You'll be talking to us about 3 words. Yes, you belong. Demarcus, take it over.
All right. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate it. I hope everyone is ready to take a ride together. Just want to say greetings to everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here with NASA for this virtual conference for emergency professionals. Ecstatic about the opportunity. I was kind of feeling like it was going to be my first day of school last night. Just excited for this learning and engagement together. This session will hopefully provide some tips and some strategies and some encouragement, especially during this unprecedented time of COVID still impacting how we not only show up in our current roles, but also what it will look like for the future. But we do want to focus on that, there's a place and a purpose for all of us in this profession. So I'll start off a little bit about myself and just share that I want everybody, as we go forward, to think about Let's Eat. I want you to hold this in your mind. I want you to, the acronym EAT, I want you to hold that. I want you to think on it. Don't try to guess what it is. I'm going to share that momentarily. But first, I'll say, again, I am in my 3rd year at UNC Greensboro. I've been in the field of higher education since 2007. So quite a little bit, still like a young student in the higher ed profession. So still a lot to learn, but definitely want to share some wisdom that I've gained over the years. One of the things I want to talk about with Let's Eat is when I remember in my freshman year, when I was at Virginia State University, there was always this, what I see now as an interesting approach, but I want folks to either figuratively, or if you're sitting with someone, 6 feet apart, social distancing, look left, look to your right. And I really want us to decree and claim together that and confirm and affirm that, yes, I belong. There's so much opportunity and so much space in student affairs and higher education, and we all have a purpose and a role. And right now, again, as COVID and some other things may present some challenges to us on a daily or long-term basis, that does not prevent us having that place. So make sure you share that with someone. If someone wasn't able to make that call, remind, confirm, and affirm to them that they belong in this field, that you belong in this field. And I want folks to carry that narrative forward. And that is what we're going to proclaim going forward as we not only continue to persist through COVID in this higher education era, but also how we will continue to go forward. So also I wanted to share about when I first entered the field, I was always told it's about competition. You got to be better than the next man. You got to do better than your colleague. And I want to dispel that kind of stereotype and that belief, because it's not. I want to refocus that it's about collaboration and not competition. So if you say that to yourself and kind of check in and chime in with that it's about collaboration and competition. We can do more as a village than we can with our own individual voices. And I want to make sure that we understand that we take that for, because the EAT means effectively achieving together. And that's how we're going to get through this. That's how we're going to conquer COVID. That's how we're going to shape a new era of higher education together. We have to make sure not only our individual efforts, but they are also collective efforts in pushing this profession and in re-grooming this profession for what we want it to be. And every one of us have an important role in what this is going to look like. So all your identities, bring them to the table. All your abilities, bring them to the table. All of your questions and concerns, all of your think tank, and all the energy and talent that you have, there's still room at the table for you to bring that forth and contribute to the greater whole. So effectively achieving together. Let's eat.
Demarcus, sorry to interrupt. I just wanted to double check. Were you wanting to share your screen for the presentation? We're not able to see it, so I just wanted to double check.
Yes, thank you for that. I will. Let me see. Tell me if you see it now. Oh, let me see.
Not yet. All righty, we're all set. Thank
We're
you.
good. All right, there we go. See, you got to be adaptable too, so that helps in these times as well. All right, so just a little bit about my story. I attended Virginia State University. I actually stayed there through 2007 to achieve my bachelor's and master's degree. I'm currently a first year. I actually just finished a couple of days ago my last two classes to complete my first year of doctoral. My doctoral studies at UNC Greensboro in higher ed. So very happy about that. But I want folks to understand my story is centered on I didn't think I would be in college. I actually didn't think I belonged, which is kind of the foundation for wanting to put this presentation, this encouragement together. I actually, told my mother gave me two choices when I was graduated high school and said, you either going to work or you go to school. And I actually said work, and she said, hey, it was a trick question. Actually on school. So I am fortunate for that kind of nudge to go to the collegiate atmosphere, but I was so scared on what I had to offer and that I didn't have anything to offer to the collegiate world that I almost didn't apply. So let alone much being a doctoral student at this point, but also being one of the first people in my family, being a first generation graduate student was something that I just couldn't see when I initially started a journey. So you may feel like you're in that space, whether you are an undergraduate student right now or you just finished. Congratulations to all our graduates. You graduated through a crisis, which is a double celebration in itself. You may not feel that you have what it takes to go forward and to contribute what this field needs or feel like you have a purpose in the field. But I'm here to confirm and affirm that you actually do as somebody who did not initially think they had. And I also don't want you all to skip over that from 2007 to 2019, I was not in school. So definitely, I had doubts. I went through imposter syndrome in my doctoral journey. And these are things because I formed my network, which I'll talk about later, and through villages and through prayer and through faith, through my faith, I was able to overcome some of these internal, external challenges about some of these accomplishments. I also want to say, especially for those who may be going into housing, and I want to particularly share that this my lens is coming through as a Black man, as a professional of color. So that is what I'm particularly speaking from, and maybe particularly speaking to in this presentation. The fact of the matter is, during my graduate career, let me share that I was blessed enough to find an assistantship for graduate school because it allowed me to be paid and have somewhere to stay while I attended my graduate studies. But it wasn't something that I totally knew about. I just knew one of my chairs told me, like, if you don't have to, try not to pay for graduate school because there are grants, there are departments that are willing to pay for you to be a graduate student. So I was able to benefit from that. But I was a terrible graduate hall director my first year. I had no clue what I was getting myself into. And my first supervisor, Mr. Thrift, he told me in countless meetings that you're not good at this. But it was through that he did not give up on me. He gave me the tools. He connected me with other people on campus to help to really kind of whip me into shape and help challenge me in a different way that I really hadn't been challenged through my undergraduate career. It really helped also strengthen my foundation as a student and as a professional. Some of the words of wisdom he shared with me was always put your best foot forward. And one of the things I struggled with in my graduate assistantship was that I'm not doing this forever. Like, this is not going to be my end goal. Like, I don't want to be a hall director forever. Like, this is not even the field I want to go into. I wanted to be a sports agent. I wanted to be like Jerry Maguire, show me the money. And I was going to make sure I go live my life. But he always said, whatever opportunity you're having, make sure that you treat it like it is your end goal and always put your best foot forward. And I'm glad he told me that because I didn't know at that time in 2007 that this would be my full-time career. And again, that not only did I have a place in student affairs, but I had a purpose. And also he told me there are times when you get to choose your career and there are times when your career would choose you. Some of the encouragement that I want to share with you all along my journey is I think about those who came before me, particularly when it comes to higher education. Those who not only paved the way for us to be in higher education, particularly those pioneers of color, in higher education, but those who stood the test of time, who stood up against barriers, who stood against laws that prevented certain types of people from attaining higher education. I utilize their stories. I get to know their narratives. I connect to their narratives in order to give me fuel and motivation and encouragement about going forward, about standing in the gap, about being that next. I may not be the first, but I want to be the next to continue their legacy, to continue their push for equality and whatever their agenda may have been in order for everyone to have this access and this opportunity in higher education. So some of the names here, Betty Ann Tillman and Joanne Smart, right here at UNCG Greensboro. They were two of the first African-American women to enroll at UNCG. You talk about Virgil Hawkins and George Stark. I learned about their history when I was in the Rights Union at University of Florida, about them being pioneers and breaking some barriers, about being the first students to integrate or graduate from that institution in the early 19, about 105 years ago. Everyone knows about Ruby Bridges. Then you have Mary Frances Early at the University of Georgia, who was the first to African-American woman to graduate from that institution in 1962. And then you have Mary Jane Patterson, who was the first ever documented African-American woman to receive a Bachelor of Arts degree in 1862. So I take those narratives and I study those narratives and I connect with them to say, hey, they did it. They stood the test of time. They too could have had doubts about where they belong. How are they going to fit? How were they going to persevere in higher education, in the classrooms, in the residence halls, in the different campus environments? But they were able to persist. They dug deep, and I have to question myself all the time. What did they take? What did they find within themselves that allowed them to persist? And to go and to break these barriers and to make space in higher education for someone like me. And I utilize that as fuel to go forward. I also want you to understand that you have a purpose and a position in student affairs and higher education, but you also have the opportunity to silence some stereotypes. As a Black male in higher education, early on in my career, I had to overcome and really unlearn to relearn some very negative stereotypes and negative narratives that were being told to me about Black males, particularly in higher education, where it was questions about our work ethic, or it was questions about did males actually belong or have a place or be able to contribute to the actual learning and engagement and development of students on campus. These are things that I came into battle with and to struggle and to wrestle with during my early career. And these are things that I really, because of my village, because of educators, because of other people around and organizations like NASPA, was able to pour into me to kind of rewrite those narratives, unlearn those negative narratives. So I want you to understand, you decide what is the worth of their words. Again, let me say that. You decide what is the worth of their words. You can address the stereotypes with the motion of your mind more than with the movement of your mouth. So I don't have to always engage the stereotype that is being said about me. I don't have to defend it all the time, even though sometimes it feels like a natural nature for me to want to speak up or want me to stand against something that's being said to me. Whereas I can find other effective ways that do not oppose the threat to me, but also do not pose a threat to me going forward. Remember, you are your most important investment. That's also another way you will silence your stereotypes. You make sure you make time to invest yourself in yourself. What is it that you of today is doing for you of tomorrow? Oftentimes, people say your attitude determines your altitude. If your altitude is a bank account, are you a billionaire or are you bankrupt? What are you doing about it? How are you going about to build that billionaire attitude so you can achieve better and achieve more? Are you broke or are you building? Your self-worth is your self-work. Think about that. Your self-worth is your self-work. Well, how are you investing in yourself? How are you making yourself better, and how are you contributing to your greatest success? And always, always, always remember to be graceful with yourselves. You cannot effectively give grace to others unless you intentionally give grace to yourself. So one of the things that also helped me along my journey and as I move quickly is that you got to build a village, right? You got to build a village around you that will not only reiterate your purpose and your place in student affairs and higher education, that will also help challenge you, help support you, help shape you. Who are these people? What is it that you need before you go into your next season of transition, your next academic environment? Start to put these people in place and around you in order to make you better and to, again, to affirm and confirm that you belong to the spaces in higher education that you are either in currently or that you are reaching to be a part of. So these are some brothers at the University of Florida. We formed a brotherhood, a brunch and brotherhood that was really beneficial for us, just to relax and get together and see each other, hear each other's stories and what we were going through. At that institution on the right is one of my fraternity brothers, Terrence Turner. He's at FAMU, and beside him is TJ Jackson at NC State. We recently did a presentation at our Southeastern Association of Housing Officers Conference together, just about how we need to build each other up. And this takes on the clock and off the clock work in each other. You have to be around and surround yourself with people that want to invest in you. Again, another shout out and tribute to my CHO folks. This is an initiative that also reminds me that I belong not only to CHO, but that I belong to the greater profession of higher education and student affairs. This is an initiative which we do a tribute to the HBCUs and HSIs at the conference, in which we wear different paraphernalia to show support of those HSIs, the HBCUs in our respective home states. That, again, an opportunity that we came together to show solidarity, to show support of one another, particularly for those professionals that work at those particular institutions, and how can we grow forward. Again, this is my village. They help inform and improve my voice in this profession. So regardless of where I've been, Virginia State University, Virginia Union, and the other schools that you see shown on this screen, it has been a place where these have been places where showed me that I belong. And whether it's something from the institution or whether it has been individuals that have been around me, they have reiterated those facts and have allowed me to grow and to be a better professional, allowed me to occupy spaces and be able wanting to give back, such as opportunities as today. So as you look at your institution, as you look at the experience that is before you or the one that you're in right now, what is your village? What is your community? Who is being that echo for you that says, yes, you belong here? Because it's so important, not just for the hard days, but also for the good days, because we also never fully understand who we are influencing and how we are reiterating to other people, to other walks of life, whether it's students or whether it's staff or whether it's faculty or whether it's administration, whatever capacity they may be holding, whatever identities they may be holding, whether they're an only or whether they're in a majority. We want to make sure we're reiterating that, folks, yes, you belong. And then lastly, if you don't believe me, if you feel like, you know what, that guy's, he's pretty cool, he's a snazzy dresser, but I need something else that's going to help me understand that I belong in this field. I got a few friends that decided to help me out and to help reiterate that, yes, you belong. Let me get the video. Just a second. Share. Wait for a second. Bear with me, folks. Is everybody able to see the video?
Yes.
Okay, perfect.
Yes, you belong. 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 Yes, you belong.
Yes, you belong.
You belong. Yes, you belong.
Yes, you belong.
Yes, you belong.
Yes, you belong.
Trust me, honey, you belong. 3. Yes, you belong. Yes, you belong. Hi, I am Coretta Walker, the Assistant to the Vice Chancellor for Student Affairs at the University of North Carolina at Greensboro. Remember, you belong here, and even when it seems tough, you got this.
3 words. Yes, you belong. You not only have a place in higher education and student affairs, you have a very defined purpose. I'll see you at work.
Fantastic, Demarcus. Thank you so much
Thank
for your
you.
presentation and for your time. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you so much. I appreciate the opportunity.
Perfect. Now I'd love to welcome